Hello, welcome to Southwestern Living. Every Monday I share what I call a Money Management Monday video, and that's just because it had a certain roll off the tongue to it. The idea here was to keep track of how we live on a below the poverty income line, and to just encourage and help others in the um, in the realm of finances, and hopefully use our story in some way to help build and encourage others. The thing is with stories, when you are sharing your journey as you are living the journey, you get to see all the ups and downs that, when someone's writing, let's say, a how-to book or a memoir, they know the outcome of the end, but right now we're in the journey, like we're in the middle of it, and the ending, well, how do I put that? The day-to-day life isn't as glamorous as knowing that in the end there is a huge outcome. For a lot of the financial gurus that share their why they share their story and how, so you can pick up a book like something that Dave Ramsey has written and know that he is a multimillionaire writing the book. And so it's harder for me to come on my channel and say, there is a good chance you're not going to get a multimillionaire's perspective here. That's not necessarily the kind of story that anybody wants to hear or the outcome that anybody wants to have. But unless you have this ambition to have a financial secure position in life, then that's going to be your goal and that's going to be your aim towards that. And the ambitions and goals that we have in our life actually almost kind of decrease our finances by a lot. And so it's a journey and a struggle to learn to live that way. So without further ado, when I start talking about the finances, you kind of get that aspect of I'm not here, aiming for a millionaire lifestyle or even a comfortable lifestyle. I assume that from here till the day I die, it will be a more lower class income living, and it's more my job to make sure that we're not going into debt and that I manage the resources that we have wisely. And that's the goal in these videos. There's another goal in here when I share them, and that is because I had ended up paying our house off back in 2013 or 2014. I don't remember the year. We paid it off with such a small income then, and I really didn't keep track of how we did that as well. And so now that we're trying to do that here, I wanted to kind of keep a better track of that. But I've also learned that it's a lot more difficult doing it now than when it is then. We have a larger family, so even though our income has increased a little, the expenses have increased much more than that. So it's interesting to see like how long it's going to take us to do this. So without further ado, let's kind of talk about some of the finances of this month. So once a month I try to get in and I try to share with you, okay, so here's what my husband made, here's how we made this work, here's how last month went, and how we're going forward in the future. And this month was very expensive month, and let's just say that I ended up pulling about half of what my husband earned last month out of savings to get us through this month. We spent twice as much as I normally do on groceries, and I don't think it's just the price increase, but it was trying to choose. Okay, John, not right now. It wasn't just the price increase on the groceries, but it was also trying to kind of prepare us for doing a once a month shopping trip. So there was some of that, and I'll address that here in a little bit. Our gas pretty much doubled. The last 3, 4, 5 weeks, we have pretty much, for my comfort, when we hit half a tank, I fill it up to the top. And that's just my comfort level. It's just, we have been in situations where we have to make an emergency trip, and so once it hits half a tank, I'd like to fill it up, because if we have an emergency tank, I'm not almost at empty having to make an emergency trip. And it's just what I've always done. So I know that once it hits that half, I fill it back up. And I used to get change back when I paid $20 for that. It's one of the best things about moving out here. But lately, I budget about $20 for us, and it has been more than double to fill it up. So that's one of the things that we did. What am I trying to say? Where am I going? So gas, groceries, and just, it was springtime, and so I had several children needing something. I had one son of mine was actually wearing his jeans, putting them in the wash and then dryer so he could wear them the next day to do his work. That's not the only pair of jeans he had, but that was pretty much like his work jeans, because he only had like one other good pair, and he was trying to keep that nice. So it was time to find him some jeans. And my son that just turned 10 decided to grow out all of his pants that we just got him. Got some nice shirts for church. Anyway, all that to say, like, I calculated just clothing purchases alone, and it was about $225 this past month. So, getting to the gist of it, like I said, we pulled out about half of my husband's last month paycheck to finish up this month, and that's kind of how we're starting out. Due to illnesses, I did not babysit as much this month as I would have liked, and a lot of my work was cutbacks. So almost $400 this past month with all the side gigs that I do, and then $500 for that house cleaning that we did, so that was $900 for groceries, and then we spent in groceries. How much did we spend? Oh man, I wrote it all out. Spent almost $1,000 in groceries this last month. And then we have all the other stuff, so not a good month. Not a good month for me. Alright, and then we've got things to look at. So my husband lost a week's paycheck this past month. However, he made it up with getting, well, first of all, he had an hourly, $1 an hour, I believe, increasing his paycheck. The owner sent out this sweet letter saying that they realize times are really hard right now, and they wanted to acknowledge that, so they increased all of the workers' paychecks by $1 an hour. And then how this company works is that because it's employee owned, I think, I'm not sure, but anyway, we get like a portion of the profits, which basically equals like a few, oh man, it's not a full month's check. Anyway, but that will help us in this next month. So, all that to say, that was super helpful. Now let's kind of get into the cost of groceries somewhat. So, a friend made a suggestion. She's like, why don't you use your groceries the same way that you do your budgeting? So you live off of your savings, your like this reserved food for a month, purchasing what you can, but then you have the additional groceries that you're putting aside to kind of basically grocery ahead. And once she said that, it was just like this, that is something I can wrap my head around. And so between that and watching women on YouTube that have done a phenomenal job of once a month grocery shopping, I am going to try that. I tried to do the Misfits Market Box. I think it's the first time I did it. I was not impressed with the produce. A lot of it was crushed and it wasn't very good, and I just kind of felt, man, I'll make do with what I can, but I can't really do that. Anyway, the second time I've tried it, which was a week and a half ago, I was like, why isn't the box been delivered? It said, so I went back and I looked, and for some reason, even though I had this autofill thing for my address, it took it to a different street. Like, it was very weird. There was my second box gone, and then I did a third box. And the reason I wanted to try this month in April was because they had a April coupon code, so basically I got my box half off. And so I did that, and I was thinking if it worked out great, and if I spent like $40 a box and kind of worked that into the groceries, then we have fresh produce coming in every week. The thing with the Misfits Market Box is that I think it's more catered to like organic foods, and that's great, but the quantity that we would need for our family would bring our grocery bill up quite a lot. And so I'm just like, I don't know if we are financially in a position to keep that going right now. As much as I would love to do organic. My husband and I have talked about it for years. If we were ever to be rich, the first thing we would do is go organic, because that's something that we've always wanted to do. So I don't know if that's going to necessarily work in the budget for right now, but that's something that I was thinking, hey, if the produce was coming once a month, then that would kind of eliminate the need for fresh produce and going to the grocery store, because that is something important to us. So we'll see how that goes. And Johnny, don't. Why? And all of that. So I just wanted to give, this is just kind of a brief update for the month of May, kind of going into May. And I thought it would be really interesting if I kind of gave like a challenge to y'all. If you wanted to join me at the beginning of every month, something to do during the month to kind of help your finances. And so I have two challenges for you, two different challenges you can choose. So the first one is to not necessarily try to do it once a month grocery shopping trip, but to kind of create a monthly menu and then see what you would need in order to sustain that menu. So that would be something just to have on hand, just to kind of give yourself an idea of the meals that you like to eat, and the things that you would need to have on hand in order to do that. So that's one challenge. Then the other challenge, if you wanted to join in, would be, so if you do shopping on a week by week and you use like a cash thing, is to take all the $1 bills and all of the change and put them aside for the whole month and see at the end of the month what you have, and then take those dollars and that coin and just pick up a few extra things to kind of put in the back of the pantry and kind of stock your pantry. And it's kind of more of a mindful of how quickly cash goes, but it's also to kind of find unique ways to kind of build up the pantry. So that's the challenge for this month. I hope one of those will work for you, and thank you so much for all of your support in this channel. So here's the journey, here's what I'm sharing. Let's be real that there is some difficult months, and I'm definitely in a difficult season right now when it comes. Okay, I want you to go get ready for bed. It is 8:30. Go get your pajamas on. Yes, ma'am. Up to it. So it's definitely a difficult season right now. I think as transitions are happening with different um, children and husband and work and life, and I'll be honest, I was just more tired this month. So when I get tired like this, I get unmotivated and I just kind of get lazy. Let's just keep it like that. So we're going to end it on this note, and like I said, it's not just about keeping it real. Like it's not to just throw something out there saying, well, I'm keeping it real. I always thought I was so much better than what I am, and there's a sense of like burden and responsibility that I feel towards you all. Let's just say it's the OSS in me, older sibling syndrome, and it is that you know, when I present this stuff out for you and wanting it to be useful and wanting it to be relevant and helpful, you know, being honest when like, yeah, it ain't going so well, y'all, and that is, and wanting things to go right, and it's just not like that, and so it's kind of like a little reeling back, kind of seeing the whole picture. I definitely did not have as good a plan this last month, and I think that was such a huge part of it. But anyway, thank you so much for being a part of this with me. I hope it is helpful and encouraging. Well, okay, I hope it's helpful, and I hope that there is a takeaway you can get from these videos, and I thank you for your support and encouragement, and I'll see you in my next video. So $225 for babysitting, 40 and 75 is $225, and a 40 brings it to $265, and then the 75 will bring it to $340. So